MK, and I am here with a Scraptember layout for you guys today. And today we are using a grid. And so I brought out my circle grid stencil as well as this pear tree cut file fern leaf stencil. I also have these two inks. It's a distress ink in peeled paint and weathered wood. So I am really loving the weathered wood these days. And then I've got my blender brushes as well. I have a few of the cut aparts from my collection. And then I also have a chipboard set from Dusty Attic. I'm just going to use a few pieces from that. I have one little piece of grid paper that was left over, and then these little bits and pieces. I'm dwindling down the Hike More collection from 49 and Market. All I have left are embellishments. I think I have some scraps too. These are my photos. I actually do end up misplacing a couple photos, so I don't end up using all of these photos. Plus, some of them are duplicates, so I don't really think I need all of them. I have this Let's Camp by Cartabella that was my all-time favorite grid or plaid at the time, and I just keep using it little bit by little bit. Also from 49 and Market, I have a foundation paper, and then from My Mind's Eye laundry line, I have this paper that has a glitter on it, and so this is the last of this little bit as well. Just a couple scraps that I put together during a clean out that I had that you guys will see here really soon. And then also from my paper line, I have this last little piece. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I didn't realize that my video looks like it was frozen, but I swear I'm not. I am just pausing and reflecting. So it is my paper that's blue on one side and striped on the other, and then I'm going to be making a double page layout. So when I was putting this layout together, I thought, oh my gosh, a grid, I can do that. I love putting a ton of photos in a grid-like pattern on my layout. So that is what I intended to do, is to put my pictures in a grid on my layout. And then when I was doing my editing for the video, I thought, that's not very grid-like. I must not understand the concept of a grid, in all honesty. I really didn't think that it ends up looking like a grid. But to be fair, my photos are in a grid, but not really. They're more like in a pyramid. And then I used my circle grid stencil. So maybe this counts, maybe it doesn't. But when I was creating this video, in my brain, this was a grid. Oh, you guys, I just fail miserably at life. So it is what it is. But I did have fun using up my scraps. And then, like I said, I will have a video coming up shortly on me cleaning up my desk. I had to do a complete reset, you guys. So I've been away for a couple days, and I had to do a complete reset on my desk. It has been piling up and piling up and piling up since June. I kid you not. And then I have a little crate that sits on my desk, and that's been there with the exact same products in it since April. So yes, I had to do a major reset. I had to put all of the embellishments away. I had to put all my tools away. I just needed to clean. I cleared off the entire surface of my desk, and then wiped it down, gave it a good scrubbing, and then brought everything back, and am now able to breathe, and I feel refreshed. And this layout came together beautifully. But what I did with all of the papers from my cleanup was I created page kits. I don't know if I'll use all of the page kits that you see me create in this month or next month, but it would be nice because I made quite a few. I didn't count them, but I made quite a few. All right, so here's my grid. Like I said, this to me, I could have sworn was a grid, but then I started looking at my pictures and I was like, oh, this one's a duplicate. And then I'm still ignoring more pictures off to the side. You'll see me find those here soon. That's my life right at this moment is, I'm losing my marbles, and I'm slowly finding them along the way. But it's fun. It makes it for a grand adventure. All right, so because I'm doing mixed media, which it's very not mixed media-y, I don't do a whole lot of mixed media, but I am doing a little bit of stenciling, so I want to outline where everything is going, and especially with the stencil that I'm using from Pear Tree Cut Files. It was from her project pack, which is kind of a cool little pack. If you guys want to go and take a look and see, it's peartreecutfiles.com, I think .uk. I can't remember that last little bit, but she is overseas. And it does require shipping. It's not a digital kit. You can get a portion of it digital, but if you're going to have her ship the whole thing, you might as well have her cut the cut file as well. Or if you want to continue to use the cut file over and over, you get the digital. I always get the digital, just so that way I can resize it and make it any shape or form I want, or use multiples on a page as well, because I do like doing that with cut files as well, repetition. But like I said, the specific cut file that I picked needed to be moved around the page, and I would have been upset if I didn't move it out far enough or too far, and then my pictures either didn't cover it up enough or too much, right? So I always outline my pictures. Okay, so I took my circle grid stencil, which you guys, I've said this before. I don't know where this stencil came from. I bought it off of a Cherry on Top, and a couple years ago. I've had several people ask me, but it seems like as soon as I bought it, it was discontinued. So every time I try to find it, it says it is no longer available. So it might be on that eBay site. It might be. You might find it. I have no idea, you guys. But I believe that it came from, I look it up every time. I'll have to go look in my older videos to see where, what the name of it is called. But it's not something I've heard of before, you guys, honestly. So I do apologize for not having the product list. But half my supplies are uber old anyways. I always tell everybody that I collect supplies for a lifetime, because I do plan on retiring one day and not being able to shop as frequent as I do. And one of the things that I splurge on a lot is tooling, stencils, and machines and images, things like that I can use over and over again for when all I have to do is buy paper, right? So that's my main goal in life, right, is to eventually retire and, have a supply of fun things that I want to play with over and over again. All right, so like I said, this is how I am using the fern stencil, is I'm just making the fern grow out from my grid. I don't know if I overdid it. I should have just maybe did a little bit where I was going to embellish, but I had no idea what I was going to be embellishing or anything. Now, to soften the edges, I'm just taking some weathered wood and going to rub, blend in a little bit of ink around all of my pencil line. And then I did two little embellishment inkings on either side of my page. I didn't realize that I did one large and one small, but I didn't realize I did them almost exactly across from each other, but that's okay, because it by the time that I finish my layout, it actually looks really good because of where I decide to use my papers. Because at this point, I just picked out product, you guys. I had no idea what I was going to do, other than I needed to do a grid. And like I said, in my brain, still to this moment in video time, this is a grid to me. I am laying out my photos in a grid design. But then when I was editing, I was like, no, a grid is like a square. A grid is like, I'm trying to think, compartmentalized into sections, and I didn't do that. So hopefully, this counts as a grid, because I used a grid stencil. It's actually called Circle Grid Stencil. I put that, yay, I found my photos, but I put my pictures in a grid in my brain. So I did find my pictures, and then realized that they were duplicates as well. And then I checked to see if I wanted to replace any of the pictures with what I already had down, and I decided not to. They were very similar. And so I put them off in my extra picture pile. So I ripped my, it's just like a weave, die cut that I have. It is something that I did for a card class, like I said, back in June, and I had all these little leftovers, and this was my last teeny tiny little leftover. It was awesome. And so I had no clue what I was going to do. So I just started building my papers. I cut my green paper in half, thinking, okay, I'll just do a line, like a shelf for my photos to be not really sitting on, but behind. So now it works. And then, like I said, once I'm done building this shelf, it actually works with the stencil work that I did on both edges of my paper without even thinking about it. Like, I just didn't even realize what all I had going on, what I was doing, what I had planned, nothing. I just knew that I really liked this combination of papers, and they went well with my pictures because they were very muted. And then I picked out embellishments that were already sitting on my desk. So I picked out the Hike More stuff for the June counterfeit kit, and then I had my embellishments and my paper left over from an April Kit Conspiracy kit. And then, of course, the scraps. The scraps were actually left over on another desk. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be going through a bunch of scraps, I need to go through all of my scraps. And I needed to clean that desk off too. So I ended up cleaning off 2 surfaces instead of just the one. So yeah, it made me very happy. But when I made the page kits, I honestly did not do the embellishments. I only put papers together. I figured once I figure out what what I'm going to be doing, then I'll go through and pick out pictures for those page kits. So that is what I have going on. Okay, so I went through my little embellishment pack and I picked out the gray roses as well as the leftover fern leaves, because that is basically what I have all over this page is fern leaves. So a little bit more won't hurt. And then I'm just going to distress the edges because, again, it's an outdoor layout and I like rough edges when I do an outdoor layout, because then it adds to the story of it being rough and rugged and outside. I don't believe there's anything soft to the outdoors. I also went off camera. I was going to try to put a little clip of it in, but I did most all of it off camera. For me, inking the edges of my chipboard, or not the edges, but inking the whole thing. That's why my layout is all wonky. But yes, I inked the edges, but I had to go and get oxide weathered wood ink. The regular ink does not work on chipboard. It just soaks right in and actually looks dirty. It makes the chipboard look a little dirty. Where if you use oxide, the oxide sits right on top. It does dry eventually, but at the moment it sits on top and it just adds color to your chipboard where you're actually wanting color. So these are just beautiful pictures of the waterfalls that I saw on my way to and from Washington. So I got several different pictures on one side of the car, and then on going to, and then several pictures coming back. And like I said, some of it was the same waterfall and some of it was not. Some of them are very early in the morning. Some of them are midday, things like that. So it's mostly on our way. Most of these waterfalls are going to Multnomah Falls, like you're passing Multnomah Falls, but we are headed home. So you don't really see them going to Washington and passing Multnomah Falls. But when you're headed home on that side of the road, or the freeway or the highway or whatever you guys want to call it, then you really get to see up close. You can hear them if you have your windows down. You can definitely hear the falls, but you can't really see any of them going towards Washington. But coming from, we really got a good view of a bunch of the waterfalls. So I feel like that houndstooth that I just laid down is quite crooked, but in the end, I don't even bother fixing it. It doesn't look crooked until I'm editing again. I don't notice it close up. Plus, after I get all of my embellishments on, it doesn't look crooked at all. It doesn't, it doesn't have that need of, oh, I got to go fix that like now. But at the moment, it looked crooked. I also took my tag again all off camera. I usually do all of this off camera when I am working with a double page layout, because I don't want the little yucky bits from the ink pad and all that stuff to get on my pages or my pictures. So I usually sit back in my chair and do it over my lap, because that's better than it being on my on my project. But I inked the edges of my tag, and then I took some Favoritist twine of mine from Stampin' Up. The link is always down below. I just love this twine. It works for everything, you guys. And covered up my little tag hole. I did cut this film strip in half, and I was looking for a home for the other half. And I decided, no, I can use it on another project. I do have a little ink oopsie that I did, but I'm leaving it. I'm not even going to worry about it. I could probably go and try to take one of those sanding erasers and try to clean it up, but I feel like I'm going to make it worse. So I'm leaving it. It didn't really bother me throughout the process of the video. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. All right, you guys. So that is my project for today. I love how it came out. I love these on a whim projects where I've built the page kit, but I have no idea what I'm doing with the rest of it. I love how many pieces of that Hike More from that little baggie that I had. I love how many pieces I was able to pull out and I actually put on the page instead of putting them back in the bag. So that makes me uber super happy. And I just really like how my grid, quote unquote, layout turned out. So let me know if this counts for a grid or not. I definitely want to know some people's or everybody's opinion to see if it counts or if I'm just phony baloney. All right, you guys, don't forget to check out the links that I have down below for Scraptember. I do have a link down below for a playlist for everyone that is playing along. And I'm not sure if there's a Facebook group or not, but if there is, it will be down below as well. All right, you guys, again, thank you so much, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.